You're listening to the Unstoppable Podcast, the go-to place for everyone to learn about the latest innovations in Web3, NFTs, and the decentralized web. Welcome to the Metaverse. Over the coming years, I think we both believe that digital identity is going to become more important than ever. I was doing some research prior to this recording, and I saw this Goldman Sachs report saying that the digital economy today is roughly 20 to 25% of the global economy. I mean, just seeing the shift of everything over the last couple of years, I think that's going to be even more and more in terms of a percentage going forward. I mean, just taking a time to reflect on my own life. I spend 10 plus hours a day online, which I probably spend more time online than I do offline. And just thinking about how that's going to translate into the economy and how I establish connections and relationships, how I do business online. I just see all this changing and digital identity becoming more important.
I think so too. And what's happened is we've had crypto and blockchains, which allow us to have digital property. And that's really like the big unlock. And so, I've said this lots of times, but we're in the middle of the digital industrial revolution. I spend 50% of my time plus online. But if I look at my assets, less than 1% of my assets are digital. And I think that those things are going to change, right? And I think that there's going to be just a massive development in the amount of property, the amount of stuff that people own online over the next few decades. And then we have to build all the tooling around making it possible to interact with all this digital property. So I say this kind of jokingly. It's like millennials are like, oh, I'm never going to be able to buy a house. And I'm like, oh, but you'll be able to have a house in the metaverse. And I know that may be cold comfort, but I'm saying that, like, I actually think that the value of your digital property is going to go up a lot. And this is probably the generation that's going to end up generating and owning a large chunk of the future digital property boom that's happening. Like, the people who are going to end up putting their flag in the ground for the metaverse are going to be this generation right now. And this is the real opportunity. And if you're trying to compete in the physical world, I think that you're at a huge disadvantage than competing in the digital world, because this is just a greenfield opportunity for people to establish themselves in the next couple decades.
Yeah. So, crazy statement thinking about how we're going to be owning land in the metaverse versus the physical world. And it definitely, I think, talks on a broader subject of just this kind of wealth disparity going on in the younger generations right now, and how unattainable houses are to a lot of people. But when you talk about owning property, I think we need to go one level higher and talk about, like, the identity that property is associated to, right? And when you think through how we're going to be owning more and more digital assets, that just makes digital identity more and more important, right?
Absolutely. And the thing is once you have digital property, you got to come up with systems for determining who owns it. So, you need to have some sort of identity layer. You got to have systems for the data itself, like, where it's stored. You got to have systems for access permissioning, and then you need systems for privacy. So all of these are like components of building this larger identity infrastructure that's going to happen right now. And this is what we're working on in Unstoppable Domains. And, we really think that your NFT domain is a very good contender for being your digital identity. And that's primarily because it's easy for humans to remember. And then you can associate a bunch of different pieces of digital property back to your domain. Like, you have 50 different cryptocurrencies are associated back to your single address. And that's kind of where we think NFT domains sit. And we're actually really excited to kind of lean into this, because this has been a missing piece of the internet for the past 25 years. Your normal domains are not really functioning as IDs for consumers. And this is something that I think NFT domains, because you own them, because they're, on a wallet inside your phone that you have control of, that they have an opportunity to make this possible. And I think it's going to make life a lot easier too.